We have with us in the studio Desmond Ugbo. Thanks for coming, Desmond.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
There's been this issue about the State House of Assembly elections. Looking at the background from where we had issues about the not having an adequate constitution of the House of Assembly, and then seats of the 14 members that were declared vacant December 4th, 2019. And some see it as a drawn battle, you know, between the Governor Obaseki, and predecessor, Comrade Adams Oshomole. Should the election be all about this?
My brother, thank you very much. Politics is about interest. There's no permanent enemy, but permanent interest, no permanent friend. The issue about the proclamation of the House, the controversial proclamation of the House in 2019, is what has given birth to this acrimony that is giving a lot of interpretation as to the grandstanding between the government of the day and the major opposition, the APC. I recall that our constitution is very clear about the constitution of the House, and that proclamation is about public or a kind of pronouncement, an announcement, advertisement, broadcasting of an event, major event of the constitution of a body that are saddled with the responsibility of making laws. And once that process is breached, the rudiment is not properly followed, there is need for people to be apprehensive. And those who are involved, we know that originally they don't belong to the circle of the government. And we knew how this whole crisis started with the predecessor of the current government, who hitherto was in charge of the state politics, and he also begotted the present government through the instrumentality of the party. And eventually the relationship got soured, and that you know, when you have absolute power, there is a way it affects the generality of the states. APC was having 24 members of the House of Assembly through the last election, and that became a kind of a problem in-house within the ranks of APC chieftains. And that when the law, which says that the House, the governor has such responsibility to proclaim a house through the clerk of the House of Assembly, in line with section 105, subsection 3, that a letter should be prepared and directed through the clerk, inviting the members-elect to come for inauguration. Ordinarily, you and I know from the antecedents of the House proclamation that members of the family of those members-elect are well informed, members of the public are properly informed, and even friends and well-wishers, even party chieftains, are properly informed of a particular date set aside for the inauguration of the House. But the one we saw that now actuated this crisis, this bad blood, this apprehension in the polity, was the one that was done midnight. And the evidence of that is what we saw in pictorials, where a members-elect were seen in a knicker, in a short, which negates the very dressy code of the hallowed chambers. And that now through the tongue wagging, and people begin to talk as to suggest that even the one on short was not properly invited. And the colleague, the 19 members who hitherto went to meet the governor, asking the governor to speedily proclaim the letter, the house, when others across the country has been proclaimed. Those were now become the scapegoat. 9 of them were called, others were invited, their phones were switched off, and eventually the House was inaugurated, whether genuine or counterfeit.
Okay, but
however,
okay,
you know, having shut out these 14 members, you know, at a time when
you
they
say
waited,
shut out or they didn't come for the inauguration as they were.
I'm coming to buttress why I said they were shut out. You know, when, like I do lay a foundation as to how the proclamation was done, which is faulty in the eye of an ordinary man, because proclamation is not done in the midnight. Like I do say, that you must properly inform the general public of such activities, of such events. And now, these people, perhaps, were not carried along in the inauguration of their colleagues. And they decided to toe the line of peace by way of reaching out to the court to properly define how a house can be legally proclaimed.
Okay, but let's look at all that transpired. Are you now saying, or could this suggest that the coming back of these majorly the members, you know, coming back featuring on the ballot could be an opportunity to vent their personal political vendetta against the governor?
Not really, because every rational being shouldn't have that at the back of his mind. To say, if I'm coming, this is what I will do to the governor who perhaps has allegedly prevented me from becoming a member of the House. But let me tell you, not all the members are now candidates of the party that is running for this election on the 18th.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Some decide to just step aside. Some aspire for a higher political position. Some got it right. Some couldn't make it as a result of the new trend. So all along, we knew that when you have committed an offense in some certain quarter, going to such quarter, you become very apprehensive as to whether there will be a kind of a reprisal or a kind of payback. That ordinarily would have suggested the desperation on the part of the government to go all out to reach out to people, and coupled with the recent election that saw the pattern has distorted. The pattern of election has been distorted following the obedient movement, and
what do you say as the pattern?
The pattern, the voting pattern. You know, ordinarily the government of the day ought to have the day by way of demonstrating what he has done to assuage the electorate to vote for his party, but all this failed to synchronize as a result of, like I said, the obedient movement. Note that obedient movement people are not ordinarily members of the Labour Party. They are people who feel they are no longer satisfied with the government of the day, be it the PDP or the APC. They needed a new person on board so that they can have a sigh of relief, so to speak. And that was the reason why you saw a lot of people, the first time I've witnessed that people know exactly how to vote. For that of presidency, they know who they voted for. For House of Rep, for the Senate, they were distinguishing their votes for the respective choice that they have made. And that informed the abysmal performances of the PDP in the state. And that has also informed the current government to reach out, to bridge the gap, having discovered that, yes, there are some areas, there are some lapses that culminated in the distant performances of the
Okay,
of
we're going to be
party.
taking a short break, and I believe we're going to be having a more robust discussion as we enjoy the presence of another analyst that will be looking at the discussion in this regard. Do stay with us. Joining me on Nigeria Decides while we had a break is Mr. Kenneth Irunse. Thanks for coming, Kenneth.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, viewers.
Let's look at the background from which we are having issues about the unconstituted Edo State House of Assembly, and the impression that some the APC could be feeding candidates, you know, making efforts to win in the election in order to vent personal political vendetta against the governor. What do you make of this?
Good morning, viewers, once again. The issue of the Edo State House of Assembly has been on for a while now, over 3 years, I suppose, and it has not been fully resolved up to as we speak now.
Yeah.
But I feel, I heard my friend here elaborated on the issue, but I feel that that should have been a problem with the judiciary. Because when any party of, in a democracy, when you are aggrieved, the best place to go is to the courts, to seek redress. That is what is normal in a democratic process that we practice. So naturally, when that issue happened, even though I wasn't too comfortable with the whole incident then, but I'd expected those that were affected or those that were aggrieved to have approached the court. I don't know if they actually did that, and I don't know the situation of the case in court. So the governor has expressed his own side of the story. The House of Assembly members who were not sworn in have also expressed their own side. It would have been appropriate for the court to have taken a decision on that issue so that we will know the position of the law on that issue. Just like the issue of what just happened, the Naira redesign policy. You saw the way some state governors, even governors on the same party platform with the president, took him to court to challenge that policy.
That was quite dynamic.
Decision. So that is how, in a democracy, you expect things to play out. And they got the judgment. As we speak, there's a position of the law that that policy must be, I mean, for example, we're still going to be using the old Naira note till December
31st.
So there are certain various issues that have happened like that in the polity that have been taken up to the courts, and the court will take a decision on such issues. And once the court takes a decision, that becomes final. So to me, it is the judiciary that is to blame for all this that has happened in Edo State in the last 3-4 years.
Okay.
The judiciary has really, really disappointed us. I can clearly say that.
All right. I'll come back to Honorable Desmond Ugo. Now, you talked about you actually gave us a background story of how it all played out, you know, before the... Now, you mentioned acrimony in the issue. That happened about 2-3 years ago. And now to this election, do you think that this acrimony is still going to play out this time around, owing to the fact that some people, some areas were not well represented? Some areas were not actually represented. So now, do you think those areas will actually, you know, the acrimony will play out, you know, in those parts?
Thank you. You see, you can't prevent a child who has been beaten not to cry. And we are talking about politics, where you need to tell your people. This is about explaining how, what, and where you are going to the people. And there is going to be this question. You were given a mandate. You jeopardize that mandate. What have you made with such mandate? And in reaction, the candidate now will have to explain what has really happened, what transpired in the process. So the question of whether the acrimony will have a lot to determine the reaction of this candidate or not will be stated in the affirmative, because you know, when APC vetted Governor Obaseki and the 24 members of the House of Assembly, there was this seeming harmony. Reason be that they were in the same political party. The reason why they took the matter to the National Assembly for an in-house resolution, they took the matter to all quarters within the ambit of the political party for resolution and amicable settlement, all failed. The reason is because, you know, when you are determined to do a thing, hardly can you take advice from any quarter that will suffice. and that really played out. For the House of Assembly members, who some of them are now candidates going back again, it will be very clear that that animosity has been there, and you cannot take that away from there. It will only take the perception of the governor and the public to remove such mindset. But that is not to say that having done that, which is now going to be belated now, because immediately after this election, the issue, like my brother rightly mentioned, that it was the onus of the court to have determined this matter and laid it to rest. But now that they have failed, because they have about 5 issues in court that are unresolved, ranging from the one that the then speaker, Franco Kiye, who haven't looked at it, and he went to court to obtain an injunction restraining them from coming, saying that they have stayed for 180 days in line with the relevant laws, and for that simple reason communicated the INEC to declare their seat vacant, and the INEC on their own were given 90 days.
Okay.
And the candidate, the affected members elect now also went to court to restrain the INEC from acting on such order. So all these and more is what has breeded this acrimony. And that acrimony suffice so long as Obaseki and those members elect were in the same party.
Okay.
But now that they are no longer in the same party, it is not about political and party interest. So it will go a long way for the Obaseki now to work hard if he failed, because you cannot prevent APC from featuring any candidate. APC is a political party, and like every other political party who are also contesting the election, they will have to come out to also ask the people to vote in.
All right, thank you.
To vote them in.
Thank you.
So,
Exactly,
but that will not say that they are coming in, they are coming to come and...
okay, exactly where we are going.
Governor.
Let's look at the indices or the factors that you see could be determining how the election is going to pan out, or what could influence the decisions of the electorate. Kenneth.
Okay, thank you. Just to digress a little, the issue of some candidates or some parties threatening that they're coming back to the House of Assembly is to impeach the governor, or to right the wrongs, the perceived wrongs of the governor, or to seek political, personal vendetta, is totally out of place.
Okay.
In a present-day democracy. We will not tolerate that as citizens of Edo State. That is not the legislative duty of an elected legislator. Your duties as a legislator should be well spelled out. You should be well orientated on what you're supposed to do as a legislator. Formulate policies, make laws for the good and development of the state. You are not going there to carry out personal fights, even political vendetta. Now, like really, both of us are likely agree. That issue or those issues are before the courts, and the courts have not decided. So, as far as the court has not decided, you can neither say this one is wrong nor right, because it is the onus of the court to take a decision on any issues like this that is presented before them. So eventually, what the decision that they take will become the right.
Okay.
So it is premature for us not to say the governor was right, or the speaker then was right, or they were wrong by not attending the inauguration, even though it was at midnight. The court will eventually decide that. So we are looking at people who are coming to the House of Assembly this time, because we have a very bad experience. Everybody knows that in Edo State. The recent past is a very bad experience. We need people who are committed. Once you are elected as a member of the House of Assembly to come and represent a constituent and to make laws for the good of the people of your state, your loyalty is first to the people. Your loyalty is first to your constituent, not to your political party. So we are going to be, estraying these issues, and we're going to scrutinize these candidates based on either their past antecedents,
The pedigree,
or their pedigree, as the case may be. Because people, the kind of politics we play in this country now, especially in Edo State, is politics of loyalty to party. That is wrong. That is not how it's played in developed societies. In America, for example, you will see a Donald Trump as president was being probed by the security agencies.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law. Or you will even see a senator, a Republican senator, opposing some of the policies of the president there. It happens, that is how democracy is practiced in developed climes. But here, it's about loyalty to my party, loyalty to my godfather. And that is why we must arrest and kill the menace of godfather in Edo State forever. We don't want anybody to sit somewhere and be controlling legislators or controlling people who are elected to vote, to come and make laws for people. If you know why you are in the House of Assembly, you should not be listening to what one person who says the godfather will be telling you. Rather, you should be listening to what your members of your constituents are saying.
Yeah.
So we are going to be looking critically at those areas. And thank God for the obedient movement, which I'm part of. It has changed the narratives of politics. It is now becoming clear that you don't have to have so much money to win an election. You don't need to belong to the big parties, the so-called big parties, PDP, APC, or whatever, to win an election. You just need to have a pedigree and have the right requisite knowledge and experience.
Okay, but some have said that what played out in the previous election wasn't the electorate looking or scrutinizing the pedigree of the candidates, but just a bandwagon effect that happened as a result of some candidates riding on the back of the Labour Party presidential candidate.
Good. I agree with that to a large extent. That is why I'm also asking Edo people in this next election that's coming up on Saturday, it is not, Obi is no longer in the ballot anyway. We're also going to scrutinize those who are contesting on the various platforms. Now, if you ask me, the governor has, I'm one of his fiercest critics. Any of my friends watching me now knows my stand all over the years. But when you are faced with some credible informations, visible facts on ground, that the man is doing well, you have no choice other than to just agree that the man is doing well. The governor, as far as I'm concerned, with the informations before me right now, the man has done well. But this election is not really about the governor. The governor is not the ballot. The governor is no longer contesting. So we are going to estray the individuals contesting in the various parties, both PDP, APC, Labour, which I belong to, on their pedigree, on their antecedent, on what they can offer. But that is not also to say that the governor does not have a right to also campaign for his candidates.
After all, it's his party and
it's
he's
his
the leader
party,
of the party.
he's the party and he's the leader, yes. And he will do that by showcasing his achievements to the people. This is what I have done in the last 6.5 years. If you want this to continue, there's need for you to vote for my party at the House of Assembly, because frankly speaking, it is the people at the House of Assembly that will drive, or that will drive the process that will enable the governor to finish well. It's 8-year tenure. Okay. So he has a right to do that. They also have, then the APC stock or the APC party also have a right to campaign for their candidates. We, the Labour, have right to campaign for our candidate. But let's say the facts. Do we want a chaotic House of Assembly? Coming from the fact that what we just experienced is not a palatable one. Do we want a peaceful Edo State? Do we want Edo State that will move to the next level? Do we want the governor to finish well? Okay. Those are the issues we must consider.
Okay, I'm going to take you to Honorable Ugbo now for a while. Now, we're talking about, he has actually brought us to the aspect of scrutinizing the candidates. Most of these candidates, looking at them, they seem to be first-timers. The people that are actually going into the state assembly now, majority of them from the major parties and every other party, because we cannot hinge on only the APC, the PDP, and the Labour Party. There are still other parties that have candidates. Now, he has brought us to the fact that the electorate are supposed to scrutinize the candidate on local levels. Now, how do you think this electorate, because we just saw a situation whereby people actually voted, you know, and others rode on the wings of the presidential candidates of the Labour Party. Now, how would you tell this electorate to see or to look at the candidate to be able to make the right choice?
Thank you. Very quickly, let me just clear some areas. You know, my brother was saying that, yes, we must look at the pedigree of those contesting and also look at their track record. He also said that because of what is available, the information available to him, that the governor has done well. Well, it all depends on the way you look at W. It could be M to you.
That's his own
W
measure.
to others.
Yeah.
It is his own personal opinion. But for so many others, because the last election has really separated the boys from the men. There you go mentioning some other political party. Yes, there are some other persons, some candidates from all these other political party that may have stand a better chance to do well when he gets to the House of Assembly. But because of the platform, you know, when you are talking about political party, we are looking at the major political party that has the tenacity, the spread, the numbers in terms of political structures. You know, we were looking at movement.
Structures, indeed.
Yes. Yeah. When we were talking, you know, I mentioned that the obedient movement or the Labour Party does not have a movement. Labour Party is a political party, but the name Obi and the alternative to the party, owing to the recent draconian monetary policy, the recent fuel scarcity, the unabated insecurity, and so many other variables in the federal government that painted the APC black, almost gave Obi that popularity via the support of the masses to say, let us make a change. Let us have an alternative to this PDP, to this APC. That is just a movement. It's not a political decision. But then, what we saw in Edo State was a definition of the true position of the political party and indeed what the party has done over time. Like I said, the Labour Party, like my brother has painted here, and before we even came on air, he said that he is from that same PDP background. No doubt that the PDP and the Labour are birds of same feather.
I don't know. I don't know if we are actually going to be able to.
Twins.
I don't know how you mean by birds of the same feather. But I would want you to
actually.
Excuse me.
Don't worry, I will talk on that.
What I mean by that is that they are from the same house. PDP and Labour Party are from the same house. Okay. Majority of those contesting, those candidates, are members of PDP. Take, for example, in Nwode, the current liaison officer in Nwode Local Government Council was a former commissioner of Agric. And he is the candidate of Labour Party. And even in my ward, in my local government, the House of Assembly candidate is a member of the PDP.
Okay, from time to time, candidates could actually, members of political party could actually cross carpets. Now, would you say that?
We are looking at the process.
Yes. Would you now say that for the fact that someone actually left the political party 2-3 years, you know, later, would you still say that person still belongs to the same house?
How do you say of a current liaison officer appointed by the current government, standing also as a candidate of the Labour Party?
We are in a democracy.
How do you define that?
We are in a democracy.
Democracy.
Okay. We are in a democracy.
Democracy.
So please go ahead. I will not want you to
just quickly
deviate to.
You see, to be candid, the election we are going for on Saturday is between two political parties, the APC and the others.
And the others?
Yes. And these others are Labour and PDP. They are from the same point. Reason being that is the reason why they are very comfortable. They are going out, the pressure with the governor now to go out and campaign. There is one leaked audio between two candidates of PDP and Labour, where they were discussing how
we can't say
you
that.
And I know,
we are yet to verify that audio.
Even in the 21st century.
So the audio is available.
We can say that, but I'll come back
demand.
to you.
In this present
Yes.
day and time, where we have a lot of technology, we cannot rely on audios and videos that could be doctored. So we cannot adopt that here on this platform.
Well, to some extent, these are verifiable voices that we know. They are our brothers, they are our friends. We know them.
Still could be doctored.
It can never be doctored in such a manner that will reflect the actual tone of their voices.
Let's get the reactions of Kenneth saying this.
As a leading member of the obedience movement, yes, you may have some point that we cross over from PDP. Yes, I left PDP the day Obi left PDP, and I went to Labour with him. But the vision of the obedient movement is different from the normal political structure that you know, or the normal political party arrangement that you know. It's a movement, like you rightly said. And when you are in a movement, it is devoid of party affiliations. It's an idea. An ideal is different from a political party. That's why I said I don't believe in loyalty to a political party when you are in governance. At the point of governance, you must be loyal to the people first before political party. It's only on that premise that you can actually deliver the dividend of democracy to the people. If you are loyal to the party first, you miss it along the way. That is why His Excellency, our mentor, Mr. Peter Obi, left the PDP. Because his loyalty to the people now became an issue. It was now, it's either he chooses his party, PDP, or he chooses the people. And the people asked him to leave PDP at that point, and he left.
You heard Mr. Desmond
So the issue of Labour and PDP working together, it's not really true. It's not true at all.
You heard Mr. Desmond.
But if they have an alignment, it is not wrong in politics. Political realignment, I'm not saying it is what it is now, but I'm saying there are some areas or some local government that they can decide to team up together. Say, okay, let's work together on this and let's support this person, this particular person. It is allowed. Even APC does it in some states where they govern. So political realignment is allowed in politics. But what I'm saying is that Labour is on its own. It's a party on its own, founded in its own belief and the movement, obedient movement, as we speak.
That's quite
then
notable.
PDP is a party of its own. But I'm telling you that the fact is that the obedient movement is alive. The obedient movement is not only for Labour Party members. You can confirm that, I can testify to that. And there are a lot of APC members who I know who are obedient. There are a lot of PDP members who I know are my friends who are obedient. So how dare you call obedient and PDP that they are from the same? APC, PDP, most of them share in the obedient ideology. And let me say this, let me clarify something. The pattern we saw in the last election is not a pointer to the fact that APC was popular after was now the second most popular party after Labour, because the last election actually showed that Labour is the most popular party in Edo State right now. It's the People's Party in Edo State. But what transpired was just protest votes, especially in the Edo Central. You know, like in as much as I said it here that Obaseki has performed with what I have, the information, and I can elaborate on that. I have credible information, tangible things that he has done. This is a governor who has invested in human capital development. No other governor has done this since 1999. I've done the critical study of his policies, his investment in farming, his investment in power sector, his investment in what do you call it, the creative hub, the innovative hub. All those are geared towards empowering the youth. These are sustainable policies that will live long after he's gone as governor. He has improved our IGR from 1.5 billion to about 5 billion. That is not a mean feat. Those are innovations. And these things are driven through technological process. So those are things that are sustainable. That's why I believe that this man is doing well.
Okay, do you see this as what we count?
Yes, these things we count in the elections. Obviously, it will count. Okay. It will count. So the point is that, or the fact I'm trying to make is that the man has a right, the governor, essentially the governor of Edo State, Governor Obaseki, has a right to campaign for his party or his members who are going to the House of Assembly based on his own credentials, what he has done. Because his intention is that he wants to finish well, and he needs members of the House of Assembly to enable him finish well. So he needs his people to be there. But I can also assure him, even if we have a lot, which I know we have, a lot of Labour members as the House of, we're going to work with the governor to ensure that he finishes well. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. We are not the APC as a ruling party. If you have to be sincere, has failed woefully. The insecurity you're talking about, the fuel scarcity, the Fulani herdsmen menace, as we may call it, is all a product of the APC federal government. They are failed woefully. So the people resolved to say we don't want this party anymore. Particularly the party that has ruled us for the last 8 years, that put us in the situation, in the doldrum that we have now. The poverty capital of the world is Nigeria.
Are you by this reacting to what he
yes,
said?
So it is not about
there are two parties in the state, the APC and the others.
No, it is two parties that we have now.
You can see
the parties we have now, or it is three parties, so to say. The People's Party, which is the obedient movement against the others. So I'm trying to correct him. We have two parties, the People's Parties, which is Labour movement, against the other, as represented by His Excellency Peter Obi. It is obvious that the Nigerian narrative has changed. The structure, we are trying to break that structure. That structure that you're talking about is a structure that has held us in bondage for so many years. It's the structure that has promoted poverty, that has promoted insecurity, corruption, all the negative indices of governance.
Okay.
And be promoted by this so-called structure they're talking about. So Labour Party, the obedient movement, is breaking them to shackles.
Okay, thank
you.
So
if anybody wants to align, even if the governor, as we speak, is trying to align with the Labour movement, we welcome him on board.
We're coming to the conclusion of this, and big thanks, Kenneth Erunse, and of course, Desmond Ugbo. Well, it's the live studio of Independent Television Nigeria, the sites. And before we round off, I think we're looking at issues where we could say, possibly, could also count in terms of the performance of the governor.
Well, before that, let me quickly just erase that notion and that impression that the APC has failed woefully. APC is the best thing that has happened to this country. In such a time like this, where there are mirage of activities confronting the government and the nation, there and then it is in this government that we saw the COVID-19, the world economic crunch, which now boils down to Nigeria, and all the hardship that the Nigeria is currently trying to salvage, has given such a name to APC. But that is not to say that APC has not done well in some areas of infrastructural development, in other areas of health, of education, of communication, and the rest. For a citizen of this country to just condemn APC in totality, then you are also giving room for somebody to also say that, for example, in Edo State, that Obaseki has failed woefully. Whereas there are some areas that Obaseki has done well. But majority of the areas that the people needed him to have performed, that is where he failed, that gave him that abysmal performance. The people he's alluding to, those people that he employed, those areas that he has done well, why didn't such areas reflected in the vote that they gave him? Or didn't he go leading the campaign before that February 25th election? That is what the people will answer on the 18th. But then, the issue of whether Labour and PDP are in alliance, thank God he has confirmed it today, where we are telling the public that Labour Party that they are one and the same. He has just that look, they are from the same background and they are working hand in hand together. That there will be no harm if he is supporting Labour, PDP, or if PDP has any alliance talk with them, that they are going to work together.
So is that how you perceive what he said?
That is what he said.
Because he has made it clear that his party is on his own.
To say that his party is on his own, but he did not debunk the fact that I said that a serving liaison officer appointed by the current government is a candidate of the Labour Party. Who does that when you have that partisan stand. You know, in any politics.
A government of national unity is allowed. You can
Okay,
appoint
you have
people from
formed a
other
national
parties.
unity.
If the government decide to reach out to other
Labour
stakeholders.
and PDP have formed a national state unity.
Appointment is
so
not
to
for
speak.
party members alone. That's where you get it wrong. It's not for party members alone.
You see, the coming election is about the people. You know, prior to 2020, this Ogbane Sloganiari saw the massive support, both those at home and in diaspora, for Obaseki, and people were expectant that it's going to translate such support to performance, as it were, only for them to be shocked with the demolition of their buildings without compensation adequately, even via court pronouncement, that those people should be compensated. But he said the best way is just to give them a kind of
well, the governor is not on the ballot.
But let me tell you,
the governor
he's not on the ballot, but the desperation driving him.
We are looking at the legislative business.
To campaign for his members is exceptional. Who does that when you go to the street, to the market women, to motor parks, to all that, campaign as if the election is for you?
Okay.
To the extent that the people are now asking this question: is Obaseki contesting? But nobody will stop him from campaigning for his party. But the level at which he's doing it is suggestive that he has skeleton in his cupboard that is preventing a house dominated by opposition that will probably suffer
well,
a great loss politically.
Has actually clarified that they are not going there to which harms.
Of course, nobody. But there should be a room for robust parliamentary discussions.
All right, the electorates have that to say. They have their votes to count. They have that to choose who leads them. This is a local assembly. This is this government, this election that we're about to do this Saturday, is not a presidential. It's someone that's going to lead you in your constituency. So I believe that the electorate know better.
Okay. The reason why I said the pattern will change. The pattern will change from the previous election.
Okay, let's watch
so
let's take
it will change.
Out. Closing remarks from...
yes, thank you so much. The issue at stake here is about Edo State. Yeah. To say the issue, a man, for example, who has been able to manage you can recall, before Obaseki came in, the issue of land grabbing was a major menace in Edo State. So he did that with his reforms, Edo GIS. I'm grateful for that, and I know Edo people has benefited immensely from that program. So right now, what we are looking at, the obedient movement, is a structure that has come to stay. It's a movement that has come to stay and is demolishing all the existing structures. So anybody that is going to align or that is ready to align with this movement, including the government himself, will accept him.
All right, thank you.
So for that, we appreciate it.
All right, Honorable Ugbo, 1 minute, your closing remarks.
Well, let me appeal to Edo people. You have heard him, that when we said that Labour and PDP are one and the same, and that a vote for them will perpetually plunge Edo State into this dictatorship.
No, I will not. We will not allow that.
Okay, sorry for that. Sorry for that.
Take back that statement.
Sorry for that.
Give your closing remarks.
Sorry for that.
Thank you.
And that this coming election is election between light and darkness.
All right.
And we have known, we have discovered that, yes, Edo State has been in darkness over time.
Thank you, big
and
thanks.
We need the light.
Big thanks to you, Desmond Ugbo.
Thank you.
Big thanks to you, Kenneth Erunse.
Thank you so much.
For your dexterity and articulation on this.
Thank you so much.
There's so much we can take, and this rounds off the edition of Nigeria, the Sides Independent Television Live Studios. I am Philip Omogupon. I'm from Favor.
Yeah, and I am Favor Osaro. Have a blessed day ahead.
Goodbye.
Thank you.